Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Street Talk and other stuff. Mike, Mad Dog, Magnati. Thanks for being here Monday. I have got a cool guest for you today. It's going to be a really interesting show, okay? If there's one that's, well, let me just say, this is a person, if you don't know her, you should know her. You should meet her. I'm going to introduce you to her today. But just a couple things before we get started. Now, I was talking to some right-wing fanatic the other day, and he was arguing that it was okay to hate liberals. And I said, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. I mean, look at your parents. And so he gets mad at me and he says, well, you should talk nice to me. I say, okay, I'll say something nice. I'm just jealous of all the people who haven't met you. Oh, and I was at a meeting the other day and a coworker said, you know, a thought just crossed my mind. And I said, yeah, it must have been a long, hard journey. And I went to see a psychiatrist the other day. You know, mental health counselors actually have a whole lot of problems themselves. So I went to see a psychiatrist and he said, Mike, he says, I think you're crazy. I said, well, you know, I want another opinion. He says, okay, you're ugly too. Okay, and every time somebody calls me fat, you know, I get really, really depressed, so I start to cut another piece of cake. Okay, oh, come on. If you've been watching the show for a while, what do you expect? All right, but hey, Street Talk and other stuff, I got a real cool guest, so you stick around. We'll be right back.
Stay up to date with what's happening in North Central Washington. Go to the NCW Life community calendar at ncwlife.com.
Okay, Street Talk and other stuff. Mike, Mad Dog, Magnati, happy to have you with, and I am very happy to introduce my friend Barb Andre Van Lith. Barb.
Hello, hello. So
There you
nice
go.
to be here. There or there?
Yeah, either way, either way.
Okay,
That's
sounds good.
Nice to have you. Appreciate you being here. Now, Barb and I have been, you know, we don't exchange Christmas cards, but I'd say we're friends.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had lunch together.
We have.
Yeah,
We have
on a
indeed.
personal level.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy you showed up today. But other than the topic I want to discuss today, you're a cook and a caterer. You used to run a restaurant.
Yeah, I've been in the Valley for a long time.
Yeah.
Started entrepreneurial business of owning a restaurant when I was 23. So got into the community really young and owned the Cellar Cafe with Chris Honeysett, who's also an amazing person, and doing my own catering for the last 4 years. And Chris Honeysett's actually working for me again, so it's come full circle.
So you're doing catering now?
Yes, so just exclusively.
Okay, what
Yep.
kind of events or business are you
Well,
taking on,
I'm doing one on Thursday for 600 people out in Quincy.
Oh, wow.
For the,
600?
Yeah, I know. It's the biggest one I've done
Ay.
so far on my own. But luckily I have Chris by my side. But that's out there for Hoffman Construction, the Microsoft people out there. So yeah, so keeping busy, lots of weddings, you know, holiday parties coming up, stuff like that.
Okay, so when you do something for 600 people, do you have to supply the servers and?
Yeah, so I have a on-call staff.
Oh, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So try to pay them good so they say yes when I call.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
having?
They're doing like kind of traditional Christmas dinner, the turkey, gravy, mashed potatoes, ham, stuffing, stuff
So
like
600 people, somebody like me could just kind of sneak in and pretend
Yeah.
you're part of the
that.
festivities.
Yeah,
right?
nobody would know, I'm certain of it. It's pretty high security up there though.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I and some friends have gone to the hospitality house and cooked. That's probably the largest crowd
Oh yeah.
I've cooked for. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm nowhere in your league. I'm just, you know, kind of stuff. But then there's something else. You know, I'm going to have you on the show again about this. You are also a poker player.
I am. I
us
haven't
about
reached
that a little.
professional level. I would consider myself semi-pro, but
Okay.
I've done some pretty cool things with it. Been to Vegas, played in the World Series of Poker, which is their yearly biggest tournament. It's the misconception is that it's the big $10,000 one, but they actually have a series, which is a bunch of different things. And so I haven't played in the $10,000 one.
Okay, how far did you get when you know?
I haven't done real well, to be honest, at that, but I've done pretty well at some championship stuff. Biggest win's been about 10 grand, playing
wow.
2,
That's not
3.
bad.
Yeah, so I've had some nice wins and logged in to some good cashes. And it's kind of fun. I do a local ladies league because it's a pretty male-dominated sport.
Sure.
You know, oftentimes I'm the only female actually playing in a sea of tables. And so Kind of just my mission's to teach them how to play so they feel comfortable with the game and can walk into a casino and play or go to a big tournament and play.
Cool.
Yeah, so I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm going to tell you honestly, this is why I had Barb on today. There's an issue of controversy, and that's about sexual orientation. Okay, we have people in our society who are gay, and Barb is one of them. And I know her to be an articulate, intelligent, very caring and loving person, so I wanted to discuss her side of things from this aspect because our society is changing. We are recognizing more that not everyone is what we used to consider normal growing up, okay? And I really think it's important for people to recognize this. I had Matthew Pippin on a while back, okay? Matthew, well, let's not go into that right now. He had a very bad experience with somebody, and I made a point to take him out to say to him, it's not, I'm sorry, we're not all like that, because he had a religious person get in his face. But, okay, being gay in Wenatchee, okay, what can you tell us about that? I mean, how has it been for you and your partner, Lori Van Lith, who's another mental health counselor, and I hear she's very good.
I hear that too.
I hear nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, she loves dealing with teens and adolescents, so that's kind of admirable in itself. So, you know, I have the opposite experience in Wenatchee.
Okay.
I've had really, I have not had a lot of issues at all. And I kind of thought that I might, especially being super young, taking on a business adventure.
Right.
The first thing I thought was, will anybody come through the door when they know 2 gay women own the restaurant? You know, so that was a little frightening. So as a young 23-year-old, kind of figuring out my sexuality anyway, you know, I had to figure out how I was going to navigate through that. And, you know, I don't hang rainbows in my, you know, I keep my personal life personal, my professional life professional, and I started out that way. And, you know, I don't have a real big chip on my shoulder, but I haven't had a lot of negative experiences either. So I've had great luck with this community, and I really advocate now being older and have gone through being young, you know, having a family, meeting a partner. We've been together almost 19 years.
Yeah, you guys have been together quite some time. How many kids do you two have?
2 kids, and we had them together. So there's challenges that are posed with being gay. You know, like having children and what that looks like, you know, things that you have to go through, legalized marriage, all of that stuff. But as far as my personal journey in this community, it's been wonderful. I've never had an issue. I've never had vandalized.
I am very happy to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, at first, I think that people, you know, I love this story. People would come in and go, you know, the Cellar Cafe, those 2 lesbians own it, you know. And then it kind of just shifted. Once we just got... And we were just no different than anyone else, and we were just working behind the counter and cooking. Like,
I mean, I knew about the Cellar Cafe. We'd go in there for lunch once in a while. I mean, not too often, but I never heard anything like that.
Yeah. So I think it shifted, and then it was like, you know, the Cellar Cafe on the corner, that restaurant. Well, you know, the 2 girls that own it. You know, that stigma kind of went to the wayside as time went on, and as, you know, people just evolved and just didn't look at us as the gay girls cooking. It was the girls cooking.
Right.
You know, I mean, and so that's...
Do you think had you been male and you were working with another male in a homosexual relationship that you would have had a different experience?
You know, that's a great question.
Yeah. I just thought of it.
Yeah, well, good, on the fly.
Smart guy.
You know, again, things have changed so much since, like, say, I was in my 20s compared to now.
And this was an orientation you were always fairly well aware of.
Yeah, I mean, I've had great relationships with men. I mean, I personally feel, and everyone has their own beliefs. You asked me a misconception. I think that a misconception is that you're pigeonholed into, you know, your sexual orientation. I think there's a spectrum, and I think people fall as they will. And so I've had great relationships with men. And so, but I just seem to be more attracted to women, and that's kind of how I evolved into my life. So, yeah, I mean, I do think men have a harder time. I'm not going to lie, because guys think it's sexy and hot for 2 women to be together, and you're shocked, I'm sure. I'm sure you've never...
No. Pure as the driven snow, folks. Married 40 years.
So, and I think that, you know, that men have a harder time, visualizing.
Yeah, I would imagine they would, you know.
Yeah,
generally.
I don't know why you have to visualize it, because I don't visualize people having sex. It's not something I do, but people go there.
You know,
They do.
in all honesty, I think it's just people's, a person to me who's hetero, just thinking, oh my gosh, that's a terrible thing. But then I thought one time, well, I think the same thing about my parents having sex.
Right.
Oh my God, that's a terrible
Right,
thing.
yeah.
And I know they had it at least 5 times. And
Right. And I'm not sure why people hear that and immediately go there.
Yeah.
Because, and I think they don't so much now. I don't know.
I think I do know part of it. I think it's people are afraid that they're going to find those type of feelings within themselves. Because I think you're right. I think there is somewhat of a spectrum that, I tell my clients all the time that when we're conceived female, and it's only the introduction of hormones and testosterone that turns the fetus into a male as they grow up. And sometimes it's not exactly the same formula for all of us.
Right.
And I learned this years ago, dealing with issues, when I was a cop, that some people are born with orientations that they couldn't change any more than I could change mine.
Right.
And how could I therefore judge them or in any way feel that,
I think if we quit overthinking it, love is love.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where we're getting, and I love that, and I think that that's how, it's not gay marriage, it's marriage.
Right.
I'm pretty boring and normal, just like any other family.
Well, I'm going to ask you about that in a minute. And one thing I like to say is if us, Christian right-wingers believe everyone should get married, we should be more happy that, more gay people want to get married.
Right.
Okay, but I want to come back because we've got more I want to talk to Barb about, some other stuff. But Street Talk and other stuff, Mike Mad Dog Magnati. We're talking with Barb Andre Van Lith today. We're talking about being gay in Wenatchee and just in general. But stick around. We will be right back.
Please join us weekly for the 12th District with yours truly, Kerry Condata. Check your channel guide for times or go to ncwlife.com for details.
All right, Mike Mad Dog Magnati, Street Talk and other stuff. We're talking to Barb Andre Van Lith. We're talking about issues of being a gay person in Wenatchee and just in general. Very much appreciate you coming on and talk about this today because I think this is an important issue that should be open up and discuss. So, okay.
Absolutely.
What type of things do you think it's important for people to know, about this issue?
Well, I think sometimes people fear differences in one another. And so when people don't understand, I don't expect you to understand what it would be like to sleep with a man. It's just not, in you. And so I think that just people fear that and they put a stigma on that. And they think that, all gay people are pedophiles or, like I said earlier, they kind of go to that rationale. And it's just not true.
I was a sex crimes investigator.
Right.
And I never met I'm sorry, pedophiles it's completely different. We're not even going to go there.
Right.
Okay? Because it has nothing to do with sexual orientation.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? In many ways it doesn't.
Right.
So.
And I think that people think, a lot of times that it's a choice. And so, but again, if you know somebody and you've heard the stories like Matthew Pippin and stuff, you meet that guy and you just don't question where he comes from.
Guy, yeah.
He's a great guy, and it's not a choice. It's just something that you're born with. You can't choose it.
Someone said that to me. Well, I believe it's a choice. I looked at him and said, when did you choose to be heterosexual?
Right.
I said, I didn't. I grew up that way. I
Right.
didn't suddenly have I see this guy over here and I see, who do I, there wasn't anything like that.
Well, or to set yourself up for discrimination. The world's hard enough. Like, I really want to, a friend of mine, I was talking to my best friend, and they're very prominent. And they hold big jobs. They're community members. They come from the same place. Like, we've just been so involved in the community, we've had no issues. Well, they got married about 5 years ago, and excited, coming along, and all of a sudden the video guy calls him up, says, I can't do your wedding. It was the classic case of it's against my religious views and I can't do your wedding. And she was like, but I live in this bubble where I forget that I'm gay.
Yeah.
I forget that my family is not the same.
That is so contrary to what Jesus taught. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it is. And something else I say frequently, I don't know how okay, the first two gals that got married here in town, Mary Tamiris and Christina Davitt.
Yep.
I don't know if you know them.
I don't. I've heard of them.
I
of
helped them
course.
adopt a child. Oh, and that caused the world. Oh, baby.
Yeah. Our pastor from the Presbyterian Church got yanked out of he got in a lot of trouble back in 2002 for our first wedding that wasn't legal.
All right, but
so
you know, but I knew a friend of mine, and she said to me, a gal I used to work with, she said, "Why would I choose this?"
Right.
I said, "Why would I choose it?" I mean, I realized when I was in late teens, early college, but why would I didn't choose? Why would I choose something like this? You know, it's a pack of trouble. You know.
Exactly. It is a pack of trouble. I mean, it's kind of a good way to put it. Unfortunately, it's a pack of trouble. And again, I think it's becoming less and less. The more light we can bring to it, like having these conversations, kind of put a normalcy to it.
I agree.
You know,
I agree there. See, the gals who I helped adopt, you know, I let them know that where I had my office, they were asking me very nicely to leave, okay?
Oh.
You know, well, I'm very glad Newsong said to me, "Hey, look, you know, come on, come have your office over with us." But they said, "Well, why don't we come to church here some Sundays so that people can meet us and they can see we're normal?" I said, "Well, that'd be great. You know, it'd be wonderful if you did, because you actually look pretty normal."
I know.
Overall.
I know. I get the misperception that I'm straight all the time.
Okay. Well,
How's your husband?
How
Who's
dare
your
they?
husband?
How dare they
I know.
do that? You know?
Gosh.
Okay. So what misconceptions do people have about?
Well, I mean, again, I
that we
think
can
that it's a
correct?
choice and that they're pedophiles, that it's contagious. I mean, all of those things. You know, I think that are
Or do
huge
you have to recruit,
misconceptions.
otherwise you couldn't
Right.
reproduce?
Right.
I mean, come
Or
on.
that this is a funny one. I'll never forget. It was when I was younger, and somebody's like, "Oh, I got to set you up." They knew one gay person in their whole life, and they set me up with their one gay
And they were
friend.
sure that you guys would connect.
Oh, yeah, and
you're
it
both
was
gay,
such
right?
a mixed match. I mean, it was like, I felt like saying, "So I'm gay and I don't have taste?" I mean, she was hideous.
I thought gay people were known for having taste.
So I'm like, what,
know?
do you not know me? So, you know, that was a misconception too, that, you know, that I'm checking you out just because you're a female. Trust me, I'm not checking out every female. Men are not checking out every male just because they're gay. I know that.
No, men are checking out other females.
So it's just, that's kind of a huge kind of chuckle for me too.
okay.
It's just that, you know, just because we're attracted to the same sex, just every same-sex person that walks in front of us, we are not checking out. I promise you that.
Okay. Well, somebody said to me something about, "Well, I just can't abide by the gay lifestyle." And I looked at them and said, "Well, what is that?" I said, "What's the heterosexual lifestyle?" And this was another conservative gentleman like me, married for quite some time. I said, "Is what you and I have, is that representative of the heterosexual lifestyle? Or is the Kardashians, Madonna, Hugh Hefner, you know, are these people who we want to say are representative of the heterosexual lifestyle? No, of course not."
Right.
And people do the same thing to you. They look at, you know, whatever and say, "Well, that's the lifestyle and I don't like it." So,
Yeah. Yep.
okay. So,
Yeah.
all right, here's another question. What's the difference between you and me? Okay? I mean, I'm going home to my wife, you're going home to yours.
Yeah.
What's your evening going to be like?
Yeah, it's exactly probably as boring as yours.
Actually, I hope mine's not. You know, I'm going to try to get away with having a cigar and a gin and tonic, you know.
Well, I'm not there yet. I'm not as retired as you. I got to schlep through the kids.
I'm still working.
And the, you know.
I'm still working, okay?
True. You're here. But yeah, I mean, I live in the, you know, 5-bedroom house. I take my kids to school. I pick them up. I work a job. I mean, it's, you know, it is.
And what do you want out of life, okay?
I mean, I want to raise healthy, happy, evolved children, and I really am huge on being a community-involved individual. I do a lot of charity here.
Sure.
I'm really involved in the community, and I feel like this community has given me so much, so I give back a lot.
Man, that makes me happy.
Yeah,
I mean, I love Wenatchee, and I'm proud
Yeah.
that you're having that experience. So
Absolutely.
I think that's great.
Yeah, and I can pass that down to the young people who struggle. You know, I went to a meeting the other day, and to listen to their stories is kind of heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I just give them the hope that they can have, you know, a normal functioning life.
Okay.
Business, family, house, you know.
And this is a good community to do it.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. Well, I am here with Barb Andre Van Lith. She's been very generous to come today to talk about this topic. I really appreciate it. I really do.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, it's something that is important to me. And I want to try to do more in this area. But hey, street talk and other stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnati, we're going to come back with your probably worthless opinion, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Have a fun video you'd like to see featured on NCW Life? Email us at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.
All right, Street Talking Other Stuff. Mike, Mad Dog, Magnati, and we're going to do your probably worth this opinion. I got a really good letter here, okay? I think I can help this guy. Okay, now, dear Mad Dog, I need help and I don't know what to do. I know you help crazy people, or at least people with mental problems, so I'm hoping you can help me. I'm scared to death of clowns and I can't get over it. Now, this is pretty common, from what I understand.
It is common. My
okay?
daughters.
All right. Ever since my parents took me to a circus when I was a kid, clowns have freaked me out. Even going into McDonald's gives me the creeps so bad I can't even go there anymore. It's probably a good thing, you know, health-wise. Even going to Burger King makes me think of Ronald McDonald, and I can't go there either. And Jack in the Box, forget it. I'm getting shivers just thinking about that clown. So lately I'm having thoughts about being attacked by a group of clowns. These aren't dreams. I'm having these thoughts and fears while I'm wide awake. What can I do? What can I do ever if I'm attacked by a group of clowns signed clown-phobic? All right, I can help this guy. Okay. Actually, this clown phobia is really pretty normal, and it can be treated. A number of mental health professionals, myself included, you know, Barb's wife, Lori, you know, can do that, but it's pretty widespread, this fear of clowns. Now, some cognitive behavioral therapy would help. And if you came to my office or called my office for an appointment, I'd be happy to set you up. But if, in the meantime, before you get help, you are ever attacked by a group of clowns, what you need to remember is this. You always go for the juggler.
What would we do without you?
Isn't that great?
That's good.
Isn't that great? Okay, so plans for the future.
Plans
Where
for
are you
the
going with
future.
your life?
Gosh, I
You know?
just am excited for.
Or how can people contact you if they want the catering done?
Yeah, my catering service is Ring a Bell's Catering,
Okay.
like ring a dinner bell. And I have a website and a Facebook page, so pretty easy to find
Good.
that. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to do this for the next 10 years, get
Cool.
the kids off to college, and I tease them that I'm going to retire and buy a motorhome and follow them everywhere. And they actually think that's cool for now.
I did the opposite. I told my kids, I want you out of the house. Okay, I said, because your mother and I have plans. That's not fair. I said, look, you're temporary. Your mom's permanent. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, good. You know, and again, I really appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
It's nice to be able to
Anytime.
talk about
Happy to
this
talk
stuff.
about
I will
it.
have you back. I will do want to have you back when you get a poker tournament coming up.
Okay.
Okay, sound
Sounds
good?
Yeah.
All right, but hey, ladies and gentlemen, you know, this is a good topic to think about. If you want to read a good book on the topic of the gay experience, there's a gay Christian by the name of Bruce Bauer, and the book is called A Place at the Table. He's a very intellectual man, but the book is very easy reading. I highly suggest it. You can get it on Amazon. Again, Bruce Bauer, B-A-U-E-R, and the name of the book is A Place at the Table. So, Street Talking Other Stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnati, thanks for being here. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.